Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you clicked on this video, this is your timeless reading, and tonight is going to be a pick a card. So you're going to pick the feather, or you're going to pick the piece of wood. The timestamps will be in the description box, okay? Something tells me that my tongue-tiedness has something to do with the feather reading. Don't forget to look at the numerology, the timestamp, the date it was posted, things that jump out to you, because all of that may have some channeled guidance from your spiritual team in it for you. Okay, feather pile, welcome to your reading. This reading is about what your heart needs to say, okay? And you know what? We need some rose quartz, okay? We need some rose quartz support, okay? So this is about what your heart needs to say. So take a deep breath, okay? And just remember that you are worthy of love, okay? Oh my gosh. That is just, I just want to cry. Full moon in Virgo, you are good enough. Heart space, what? Look at all that green. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow, okay. Sister signs, Virgo and Pisces. Okay, you are good enough. New moon in Virgo, and then new moon in Pisces in the reverse position. Meditate and contemplate in the reverse. Wow, okay, so you are in a period of release. I asked Spirit what your heart needed to say, and one thing that is coming through very crystal clear on the Virgo Pisces axis is you have to stop overthinking what you want to say through the lens of perfection, Virgo. So you may have prominent Virgo or Pisces placements, okay? And with full moon upright, new moon in the reverse, there has been a lot of emotional planning, okay, that you have put into these words. Okay, new moon is about new beginnings and new starts and laying the groundwork for whatever that new start is. Full moon energy is, I don't know, sometimes I think the full moon energy gets a little bit misconstrued, because yes, the full moon is release in many ways, but there's also this energy of like, it's not just release, it's release and then waiting, looking at the result of the release, okay, and sitting in that space of review of the release. Okay, it's not just about the action step of the release, it's about sitting with the choice to have spoken, to have said something, to have opened your heart in this way. But this is definitely, we got a direct response from Spirit, okay? This is definitely heavy heart energy when we talk about what your heart needs to say. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have a fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. So, wow. So this is about being grounded also in your sacral energy, okay, to take action, and also in your root energy, root and sacral, to take action. Wow. All right, so we're going to pull cards from the Empathic Oracle to try and see what may be blocking you emotionally, stopping you from getting what you want, okay, when it comes to what your heart needs to say. Okay, wow, okay. So the first card out is the throat chakra. When it comes to full moon in Virgo, you are good enough. You just don't have, you are undervaluing what it is that you have to say. Um, you downplay its importance, okay? And I do think this is from a fear of not saying it perfectly. With this Virgo energy, there's this over criticism, okay, with Virgo energy of all things and self, right? That's Virgo. So there's definitely this energy where you don't think what you have to say, you just undervalue how important it is or how much it could affect what you're going through, okay? And then we have 3, and then we have 28. So you may be seeing 3s, you may be seeing 8s, you may be seeing 10. Okay, predator. Okay, you have, okay, so, okay, so this is very interesting energy together. Okay, predator and throat chakra, because you have this deep desire, this drive to speak, right? But sometimes your desire to speak turns into a need to control, like, the conversation or the dialogue, right? The predator becomes, what is a predator doing, right? The predator is trying to lure in prey. And I don't mean this in a way that you are a sinister person or you are trying to harm someone, but when you are trying to be very controlling of what you express emotionally, verbally, it can err on the side of emotional manipulation, okay? So we really just need to be cognizant of how we're communicating and find the balance, make sure we're listening to the other person as well, and not just listening to respond, okay? Because there's this energy of like a lack of, it's truly fear-based, right? We're trying to control the dialogue, the direction of the conversation, the emotions, what is said, what isn't said, because we're afraid, right? So this opening of your heart space, this energy coming with you are good enough, is about understanding that what you have to share, it has meaning, okay? What you have to share matters, and you do not have to artificially manipulate the conversation in order to bring that meaning forward, okay? That's not something that you need to do here in this particular situation. Okay, so we have 2 cards with meditate and contemplate, okay? In the reverse position, I'm always afraid that my cards are going to catch fire. So I'm sorry I'm moving them. Okay, so we have manifestation and resistance. Wow. So this is with meditate and contemplate, right? And we have 12, which is significant, but that's also a 3, and then we have 4 and 5, which is also a 9. 9 is about releasing, right? And we have new moon in Pisces in the reverse position, which is meditate and contemplate. They're saying that you have been sitting on this manifestation, okay? This manifestation of your emotional energy that you want to express for a long time, and you have been sitting in resistance, okay? And some of that resistance has been disguised as much needed emotional meditation, contemplation, making sure we're clear about the decisions that we're making, but we're abundantly clear at this point, right? Like your spiritual team is like, we get it, we get it. Blue and red, blue and red. You need to feel grounded and confident in what you want to say. It has value, okay? It has value. Oh my God, why million? At the bottom of the deck, okay, we have sun in the reverse position for meditate and contemplate in the reverse. And that's that fear, right? The Leo energy. The Leo is the performer. That's that Virgo, okay? Being critical of the performance of what you have to say. Truth does not require performance, okay? Write it down. Truth does not require performance, okay? We gotta realize that, okay? And then to clarify, a fiery climax approaches. Okay. We have surrender. We have another 10. So we have 2 10s. And focus. Okay. So this is definitely a period of completion for you with a 14 of 5 and a period of change. Okay. So a fiery climax is approaching. Okay. So they feel like you allow yourself to get distracted by life, so you don't actually ever do whatever this heart opening is. And they are trying to actively pull your focus in to surrendering to the heart opening and releasing the need, surrendering the need to distract yourself. Okay, because what they're trying what they're trying to avoid is what feels like an emotional implosion. Okay, they're trying to help you achieve this in a balanced way. And it's so funny because it's coming with Aries energy. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the baby of the deck. A baby screams and cries. A baby doesn't have reason, okay? And what they're saying to you is you need to surrender and focus on saying what you need to say and get it out, because it's going to come out. And we want you to have some control. Like, you're trying to have so much emotional control that you're not saying anything, and then it's going to end up coming out infantile. And they're like, surrender to this, release a level of control, release the performance, release the perfection, and it will come across a lot better than you think it is if you release this sort of predator control energy, okay? Which causes you to emotionally manipulate, right? Open heart. Oh my gosh. Okay, another 8 with 3 and 5. So you may be seeing 3s, 5s, 8s, 10s. This is a period of completion, a time, and we ask, what does your heart need to say? It needs to open up confidently, okay? And it needs to understand that truth, okay, does not need performance. And I hope you got something out of this reading. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, pile number 2. If you selected the piece of burnt wood, this reading is about what your earthly life needs you to put action behind, put passion behind, okay? What your earthly life needs your fire, okay? What in your earthly life needs your fire? Oh, wow. Okay, so we got freedom and freedom in the reverse position and forgiveness. Okay, when we asked what in your earthly life needs your passion, needs your fire, needs your action, okay? Wow, this is actually a very, very, I mean, you're coming to a spiritual reading, so one would think that there would be depth, right? But there is a lot of depth here because you have kept yourself in an earthly prison with freedom in the reverse position because you cannot forgive yourself for things. And this energy of self-forgiveness requires your passion, your devotion, your fire, okay? Because you are keeping yourself trapped and you need to forgive yourself. It's time. It's time. There's heavy heart chakra energy over this reading as well, sacral energy, solar plexus. It's certainly time to forgive, okay? Oh my gosh, on the bottom of the deck, you have trust. One of the reasons why you have been struggling to forgive yourself is because you feel like you can't trust yourself. You feel like you let yourself down on things that you never imagined you would, drop the ball on, because again, I don't know what this is for you, so I don't know. I guess your perception is your reality, right? So you could perceive yourself as having dropped the ball, whether that is reality or not, right? But whatever this was, you stopped trusting yourself, and because you didn't trust yourself anymore, being more free was felt way more risky, and it felt way more scary, and it felt way less worth it, okay? And you feel like you lost elements of your core self, and you won't forgive yourself for that. It's like you did things to protect yourself, and you're mad at yourself for that. That had an outcome, and then you're mad at yourself for those outcomes. Like, this is why freedom is coming in the reverse position, because there are just so many aspects of yourself emotionally that requires you to devote active mental, energetic, emotional space to forgiving and building in a new way. So we are going to use the empathic oracle to clarify. Wow, before I shuffle, there's fire on the bottom of the deck. It's time. It's time to forgive. Okay, with freedom in the reverse position, crowd surfing in the reverse position. So you definitely have a negative inner dialogue, okay? That needs to be addressed. But there's also, crowd surfing is about other people's opinions, okay? It's about outside opinions. But it's coming in the reverse because we've internalized whatever other people have told us about ourselves, about our life, about our limitations, about what our decisions mean, about what it makes us, about what we can be, about what we can't be based on those things. And none of these people had that authority, okay? They didn't have that authority because they are not soul, they're not spirit, they're not God. They don't know your soul journey. They don't know why. And you're here to break generational curses if you're coming to this reading. So a lot of the things that you gone through weren't because that is the sum of who you are, okay? It's because you needed to understand the generational curses that you were breaking. And you've allowed these external opinions to become your inner dialogue. And that is what's keeping you, okay, trapped. And we have water, okay? So you may be seeing the number 11, 11, 11. Different derivatives of 11, 8, 3, 4, 7, 6, 5, whatever. Okay, 9, 2. Because you internalizing these labels, whatever people told you, stopped your flow. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, it stopped your bag with eight of waters. It stopped your money. I'm not gonna lie to you, it stopped your abundance, what you believed. It stopped your ability to monetize, and this is not to sound like a content creator, even though I'm a content creator, okay, but it stopped your ability to monetize your experience in the spirit realm, in the physical realm, okay? That's what I mean by it cut off your abundance. And it was karmic, okay? And that's what they wanted to do. And now you're at a period where it's time to forgive yourself for those experiences, for believing what those people said, for becoming certain things. Let it go, dude. Let it go. That was a part of the learning, the lesson, okay? Not a part of your soul makeup, okay? Why are we struggling to forgive? Okay, that's one. Okay. Containers and purity. One of the reasons why is we definitely evaded reflection. We definitely evaded introspection, okay? We over compartmentalized, okay, to the point our experiences, our pain to the point where we are too, we lack the integration, okay, for forgiveness. Truly, that's what it is. Like, and I'm a big compartmentalizer. I'm definitely guilty of that. I'm definitely guilty of finding a little box and putting this little pain in that little box, and then putting that in the corner, and then finding this box and putting that. Okay, okay. So now we have too much clutter. We've hoarded the pain. Okay, if that makes sense. If we're looking at it like a house, we have hoarded our pain, and we need to forgive it. We may be addicted to self-pity. We need to purify. You need to purify by forgiveness is the purification. Forgiveness is the antidote. Forgiveness isn't letting yourself off. Forgiveness is the healing. Okay? That's true wisdom. Forgiveness is the healing so that you can make better moves moving forward. You need forgiveness so that you can approach redemption, okay? You need that purification. You need to open up those boxes and release all of the different things that you're still either holding self-pity or self-blame for, and purify those boxes, clean them up, throw them out, okay? And make space for forgiveness, because forgiveness paves the way for redemption, okay? Validation in the reverse position, okay? You need to know, again, with reflection energy, 6 energy, you need to know that this process of validating your own pain internally without, okay, the external validation of others has more value than any person's opinion could ever have, okay? That is what's going to clear out this energy and purify this energy so that you can hold space for self-forgiveness. You need to remove other people from this process. They have absolutely nothing to do with it, okay? Especially because a lot of these energies are karmic. They are meant to project a certain level of consciousness. It's like you're letting bots be real. They're not real. I don't care how much you have to deal with certain people. They are at bot level. A lot of people have parents that are NPCs, okay, that are stuck at NPC level consciousness. It's not your job to awaken those people. And if it's not your job to awaken them, it's definitely not their job to validate what you're doing, okay, as a soul. Trust, self-trust is a struggle. I feel you. I feel you. Okay. We have story in the reverse position. You have told yourself one tall tale, friend. Okay, and it's time to release the story with 9 energy. You have told yourself one tall tale. Okay, nobody could write a smear campaign about you because you're undefeated when it comes to the negative thoughts that you feel. You're so okay. I'm hearing Natasha Bedingfield unwritten. Like your forgiveness purifies your future. Okay, there are versions of you that have no connection to certain things that past versions of you have connection to. This story that you've been living is not, it's just a chapter. It is not the whole book. And you have told yourself negative, damaging things. I'm sorry if I'm talking low. It's just my vibe, okay? Negative, damaging things about yourself. And it's time to release that story. These are, it's just not healthy. It's not healthy. It's not about whether or not they were true at one point. It's about the fact that just because something was true 2 years ago doesn't mean it's true today. And you need to be able to evolve. And that is what's keeping you from your freedom, okay? Wow. Focus, okay? At the bottom of the deck. You need to focus on building with yourself, building forgiveness, building trust by follow through. You cannot build trust if you're not doing anything, if you're not testing those limits. Okay? But if you don't create the space for forgiveness, you're not going to feel comfortable stepping into that follow through. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to build the trust. You have to say you're going to do something and walk it like you talk it. This is about what in your earthly life needs your passion and devotion, okay? And that is self forgiveness, self validation, releasing of negative stories, releasing of negative labels, things that people told you that are highly karmic, okay? And stepping into true self love. So I really hope you got something out of this reading. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe if my energy resonates, and I will see you in the next one.